Okay, very good. All right, let's actually start. I see actually someone else is coming, but okay, we can start. So, hi everyone, my name is Dario Chipinti, and today with my colleague Maurice Schieder, we will talk about embedded analytics, and we will show how us in Deloitte, we are translating this concept to something tangible. So, our Deloitte Insights Portal. So my name is Dario Chipinti. I am a senior consultant in Deloitte Consulting, and I'm mainly focusing in the visual analytics part, and for software will be Tableau for sure. And then, of course, I also work in the full data preparation or data chain, so using, for instance, Alteryx, Python, SQL, and so on and so forth to have my data prepared for Tableau. I have around 3 years and few months actually of experience in the Tableau world, and what I like the most about Tableau is, above all, when I start with new data, when you need to start to do the data discovery to try to understand what exactly the data means, what kind of insight you have in the data, so that you can quickly jump back and forward between the visualization and then the data preparation step, and so on and so forth. I will leave actually now to Moritz.
Yeah, many thanks. Good afternoon. It's great to have this big room, and I'm very, very happy to have this big audience. So many thanks for joining our session this afternoon. I hope you had a good lunch and are not feeling asleep. So we will have a packed program prepared for you. So we will have exciting content, and we will keep you awake. So as Dario said, it's all about embedded analytics, and I will introduce you in a few seconds about the content which you will expect. Before I do, I would also say a couple of words about myself. I'm responsible in Deloitte Consulting for our visual analytics business in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I'm on the one hand, and this is my role today, I'm the second biggest client of Tableau globally. Yeah, so as a client, so we're using Tableau internally, and this is what we're talking about today. I'm also a big fan, and for me, it's always like being here at TC, so great to have so many like-minded people around, and this is what makes our relationship to Tableau so special. I personally actually started working with Tableau some 6 years ago when I was working at Lufthansa German Airlines, and I know a couple of people in the room are also from that time. So I was a Tableau client also before my consulting life. And actually I decided to go in the consulting industry because we are using data a lot, and again, this is what we will talk about today. So talking about what we will have prepared for you is I will quickly talk about how we in Deloitte are using Tableau internally, then followed by the case for embedded analytics. And then I will hand over to Dario again, who will give you a demo of our embedded analytics showcase. So we will have, on the one hand, some technical details on the solution architecture, on the different pieces of technology we're using. But we will also give you a hands-on demonstration of the use cases, why we think embedded analytics is really the way forward. And then we will close, and we will actually prepare around 15 minutes for Q&A. So if you have questions, please ask them in the end. And we would be very, very happy to have an open dialogue with you. Mm-hmm. So before we start, I know we have this big audience here in the room. I would be very much interested to understand whom of you actually is using Tableau in an embedded style, so using the APIs, using the JavaScript API, embedding Tableau in maybe other solutions. Maybe you can quickly raise your hand. Would be good to understand. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah? So I expect that the other half of the room who didn't raise their hand is hopefully more interested in the business use cases. So this is actually what we try to achieve today. Yeah, so we would like to give all of you who already have worked with the APIs and with the technical side of the story to give you a bit hands-on experience on how we do it, but we don't go very deep. Yeah, so as said, if you would like to have a bit more content, we can definitely talk with you after the session. All right, so let's kick it off. So as I mentioned, we in Deloitte, we are a global consulting company. The analysts like Gartner, like Forrester, they see us as the global leader in the strategy and management consulting space. And we are, in fact, the biggest professional services company. And we have a long-standing relationship with Tableau as the leader in the data visualization and BI space. So actually, the combination of those two great brands is leading us to be the second biggest client of Tableau as a user. Again, we'll not talk about how we use Tableau at our clients. We really talk about how we use it internally. So to give you a perspective of the extent of how we use Tableau, I just brought a couple of figures. Yeah, so in the US alone, right now we have more than 35,000 users, internal people. So for example, in our controlling department, like all our partners are getting customer profitability information. And again, I will talk more about the use cases. But we also have a massive Tableau server installation. So again, US figures, we have more than 88 cores right now deployed. And in Germany, we have servers in the UK, and we really have a huge diversified portfolio of technology based on the Tableau platform. All right, so why do we actually see that embedded analytics is something where we as Deloitte see a lot of value in? Actually, and this is probably true for most of the companies out there, and hopefully you find yourselves in that picture. We see that the amount of data is increasing. Every day we get new data sources, we get data from all different kinds of systems. Yes, you can imagine we internally have a HANA system, which is the ERP for our accounting team. Then we have a CRM system, which is maybe from Salesforce, which is maybe from Microsoft. So we have really like a huge diverse portfolio of different data sources. We see, on the other hand, we see an extremely changing and evolving need of our internal users to use that data. So it's much more becoming important for us to, for example, measure the customer success or measure the attrition of our employees, or, for example, understanding how how our impact of investments are, and we have everyday new use cases internally where we need to use that data. On the other hand, which is really creating a lot of complications, and this is true, I think, for most of us, the existing solutions, they're either not flexible enough to handle those tasks, or they're expensive, or we need a lot of manual effort to prepare the data, to structure the data, and actually then build useful insights. So all of that, I mean, you can say, let's use Tableau and build data visualizations on top. Let's think about self-service. Let's think about data discovery use cases. However, we as a huge consulting company with more than 250,000 employees, we know that not every employee is actually like interested, capable, willing to use a new tool like Tableau. So we see that, for example, our partners, they will get the data about their client engagements. They get that sent via Excel. So basically, they could use it. They could analyze what they want to do, but they don't do it, right? So they don't have the time. And therefore, we actually see that embedding analytics in existing processes and embedding analytics in an end-to-end process is really where we see a lot of value, and that's what we talk about. Before I will hand over to the real use cases and the real demo, I would like to quickly talk about two stories to elaborate a bit more where we have the need for embedded analytics. So first, as already explained, we have partners who are getting data about their clients, about their client engagements, which is all about like where do we get revenues from which client, we get cost information, we get also satisfaction survey information about our client engagements. And this data is today like pretty much diversified, and our partners, they are not able to actually use that insight in their daily basis. And this is a concrete use case where we are currently working on to embed all the insights and all the data in existing solutions, for example, in the CRM system, which is actually used by our partners every day, but which actually doesn't include analytics so far. So that's one case where we are currently embedding analytics. The second use case is for our training and enablement team. We are a people business, so we are investing continuously in the training and enablement activities of our people. So we're investing like a huge amount of money in external and internal trainings. And I actually got asked by our EMEA leadership team, how much do we actually invest per employee? And I can tell you we haven't been able to answer that question. And talking about questions like how effectful, how impactful are our trainings, or how many people actually go to a training which you offer, those questions we're actually not at all capable in the past to answer. And this is again a use case where we as a team build a solution which is not a dashboard, but is actually something where we take it one step further and embed the whole use case in an existing process. And as I don't want to bore you with more stories, I would like to hand over now to Dario to show you the concrete examples of the case.
Thank you, Moritz. So, yeah, let's jump back to embedded analytics. So the what, the why, and the how. So just for everyone, embedded analytics is very simple. It's just the integration of reporting and analytics capability in website or application. So what we did in our case, we decided to create a web page, a web portal in this case, where we embedded Tableau Dashboard on top of that. And we did some other feature that we will see alongside the presentation. The reason basically that drove us in that direction were, okay, first of all, we wanted to redesign the user experience and including the corporate identity of Deloitte. So we wanted to redesign the layout with a clean and friendly layout, having all the Deloitte layout, Deloitte style, color, and so on and so forth. Because this is something that was very important for us to give the idea that you are just using basically a web page or an application of our company. You're actually not you're not jumping to something else. So like to the corporate identity was something quite important. Then we wanted to kind of add an extra layer of security, meaning that apart from the normal system security network, the Tableau server permission, and so on and so forth, we wanted to have the two-factor authenticator. We will see later on during the demo what we are using and how we are using the two-factor authenticator. And then finally, that it was also quite a very important point for us, was to be able to create some new functionality, some custom functionality that are currently not available in Tableau Desktop or Tableau Server, but by digging in this gold mine that is the JavaScript and the REST API, or the API in general for Tableau, you can really create new functionality and something that is needed for your business. So we will see that during the live demo as well. The how, so of course you do need the Tableau server and you do need to use the JavaScript and the REST API to above all for this functionality that we created. And then what we are using Dockerized microservices. When we will talk about the high-level architecture, it will become everything will be clear. So this is very quickly just to give you a quick preview of how the portal will look like. After the high-level architecture, we will actually jump to the live thing that is more interesting to see, for sure. And right now, allow me for the next 5 minutes to be a little bit boring and then to go on the high-level architecture. So we actually have 3 main parts, let's say. You have the Tableau server, that is where you're actually publishing the dashboard to, and where the dashboard are basically living. And then you will have the front end, that is the actual portal, and the communication between the Tableau server and the front end. It is done via the REST API.
You actually get that picture, yeah? So don't need to take pictures now. You get a high-resolution picture of that one for free. Yeah?
Then in the front end as well, we're using the JavaScript API to create our functionality that we will see later on. And then, of course, we have the backend. So the backend is you have the normal part that is just the user management. So just to management or the registration, the login, and so on and so forth. And then we do have another database, and that is this comment and filter database and this comment and filter service that is used to run this functionality that we created on top. All of these are Docker containers that are running in AWS. And the reason why of the Docker container is just because then we could reuse any of this, above all for the backend, any of these services we could reuse for any other application as well, so that we are not forced to recreate from scratch the user database and the user management for other showcases or other services that we want to build inside. And then everything is running in AWS. You see, OK, the databases in that case are Postgres databases, but of course could be any databases. We just decide to use that for the showcase. And the actual front end is running in Apache HTTP server, and we implemented that in Angular. But these are just choices that we decide to have for our showcase. Now, we actually jump to the real portal. So, it did not switch. Right, we go in this way, I guess. Very good. OK. Then now, no. Let me quickly check. Sorry, because now we have another problem. Because then I cannot see my screen. OK. Let's keep. OK, now we are in. So this is just the login page, of course. Now we will create an account together so that we see as well the two-factor authentication. So this is, of course, just a normal registration form. So let's actually have TCE for today. And now you will see that when I will click on Create Account, I will be prompted to query a QR code. So in our case, we are using Google Authenticator, but of course, any authenticator provider can be used. And you just need to scan the QR code, and then you will get the new code to use, and then the actual portal will appear. So while we wait, OK, it's coming, very good. So anyhow, while we wait for the dashboard to be loaded, and you can see already. So we have the menu, the main menu basically. Then we have in the middle we have all the different dashboard and some filtering and some sorting. Now let's dig into these different components. So the menu, as I said, is we wanted to leverage the corporate identity. So you see the Deloitte logo. These are actually our colors. So it will be the Deloitte green, the Deloitte type of gray, and so on and so forth. And for instance, we also have just the possibility to go to our Deloitte website. So that is mainly to leverage basically the corporate identity. So be sure to implement the corporate identity. Then in the middle, what you will have all the different dashboards that are available on the Tableau server. And of course, so when you create the user, so it will be linked to the account that you have on the server. So only what you have access to will appear in this case. In this case, we are actually showing all the dashboard that we have in our server. And you will see that you have, apart from the preview of the dashboard, then you get some basic information. So the name of the dashboard, the owner, when it was published, the number of times that has been viewed. These are the tags. You know, if you know when you publish a Tableau dashboard from Tableau Desktop to the server, you can add some tags that then helps out to filter out basically the workbook. And we wanted to give a little bit of effect as well to the dashboard, so you see to the page. So you see when I move with the mouse, like it looks like it's popping out from the view. And then, of course, so you will start to have quite a few dashboards. So we wanted to have some way to filter and to sort and so on and so forth. So we can, for instance, order by creation date from the most recent, by the number of views, so the dashboard that has been viewed the most time. We can search by tag. So for instance, I just need to digit the first letter, right, of the tags, and then the available tags will appear. So that then I can just select one tag, and then I will see only the dashboard that are linked to this tag. And then also we wanted to filter basically by author. So I can check the dashboard for my colleagues or my dashboard, for instance. When we click on one of these picture, then the actual dashboard will be loaded. And you see, so basically still on the top is still our portal. Instead, this is the Tableau dashboard that has been embedded in the view. And now to very quickly, like 30 seconds, this is just a dashboard that we wanted to have to simulate kind of the performance of investment when you invest in some of these sectors, so that you will see with what the past performance would have been. And if you go, you will get like more information. So for each week, what were the changes, what drove the profitability, the losses, and so on and so forth. Now, we wanted really to link kind of the experience with the type of user that you could have. That in Tableau world, it will be the Tableau license on the Tableau license type on the Tableau server. So it will be the Tableau viewer or the Tableau creator and explorer. So for the Tableau viewer, we can say that less is more, meaning that, for instance, we are not showing, as you see, neither in the top nor in the bottom, we are not showing the Tableau toolbar, because, okay, first of all, many of the functionality they just don't have access to. And second of all, it's usually something that they don't know pretty well, what they can do, what they cannot do. And so we wanted to remove element out of the picture. However, there were some functionality on this Tableau toolbar that are very useful, and we are giving them back in our custom toolbar. So for instance, you can still export the data, the summary data or the full data. You can, for instance, have the PDF. You could revert after you change a little bit the filter, so you could go quickly on the initial view. The refresh is, above all, if you're connected to live data, so that basically you clear the cache, you're just getting the new data in the dashboard itself. So, and all of these are basically called back via the JavaScript API. So in the libraries, there are the possibility to call this functionality, and then you just need to program in the page as well. However, let's say that I'm not a Tableau viewer, but I am a Tableau explorer or a Tableau creator. Then I actually want to have the toolbar, because then there are very cool stuff that I can do there. I could do data alert, I can do the web editing, for instance, and so on and so forth. So you just need to click on the option, and basically then it will appear on the very bottom. So that then, again, you could create your data alert if you want to have a data alert. You could do the web editing. And this is also something important about the web editing. It is because you could use this dashboard just as template, of course. Then when you click on the web editing, you're basically, now we are basically, while you load, we are basically jumping on the Tableau server. So now we are inside the Tableau server environment. And in here, we can just add new data, right? We can add new data sources we can connect to data sources. We could drag and drop Excel file as well in here to have new data. We could create new chart, change completely the dashboard. Then we can save, of course, this dashboard. So let's just not change anything for now, but we can rewrite. We can just change the name. So now basically the dashboard is being published on the Tableau server. And now when we will close this page, you will see that we will basically jump back automatically on the portal, so that you kind of have a similar experience. So you don't actually need to go above. Right now, the web editing Tableau server became so good in comparison to the past. For a lot of users that it will be the Tableau Explorer in that case, you actually don't need to use the Tableau desktop anymore. You could just do everything on the web page, and the user, they don't even need to know in which environment they are. So before we were on the Tableau server, we jump back to the Tableau portal, to our Deloitte Insights Portal, and the experience was seamless. Now we will see, again, as soon as internet will help us, we will see that the new dashboard will be here. So as soon as it will be loaded, then if we click, of course, it will open again our dashboard. So the dashboard now is available on the Tableau server. It has been published on the Tableau server, and we can reuse it from now on until basically we delete it. Now, let's actually select another dashboard to show some of the other functionality. So again, like 30 seconds about the dashboard itself. This is just to have to check the performance, to review the performance of the S&P 100. It's just an index, and then you will have all the different sectors that are part of the index, so that you can see the price evolution of this index, and you will have some more functionality. When we click on one of the sectors, then you will be able to see all the stocks and so on and so forth. Now, as I said, these first four are functionality that are available on the Tableau server as well, that we are just calling them back. And then we start instead to create some of our custom functionality. So something that we wanted to have was to have the possibility to share a URL of the dashboard, but that is linked with the filters that is already, with the filter and the selection that the user made. So to try to improve the collaboration among users. So for instance, now, let's say I go to the material sector, and I will see soon that there is actually a break in the data. And let's maybe give it another try. So the idea in there is that we can retrieve the information, that the value that have been selected in the filters as well by the user, and then you can just share the link, and then it will basically open the dashboard and apply the filters. So let's give it another try now. Yes, so we see that there is something strange in here in the data. Let me maybe enlarge a little bit the time frame. So probably there is something wrong in the data. What I could do now, I want to have a URL that is basically linked with this filter, so that I could just send, for instance, on the chat or by email or in any other ways to my colleague that actually is the owner of the dashboard. And then what it will happen, it will open the dashboard and then apply the filters, so that you don't need to, everything is done on the spot. We generate basically the URL and the combination between the URL and the filter on the spot, so nothing is saved on the server itself. And yep, here it is. So you open the dashboard and then it applies the filter, so that you can just share the URL with your colleagues, and then the view will appear. This will be to share with your colleagues, and then we decide to have something that is very close to basically the custom view. So it will be the bookmark. So it's also for myself, a lot of the time I just start working on the dashboard, start to look some of the filtering, change, then I find something useful. But then it's time already that I need to go to work on the next assignment, or I need to work for something else. So I just want to save kind of the view, so that then as soon as I will have time again, I can continue my data exploration. So we did the same, that is the bookmark section. So let's say materials, for instance, and we can add a description, but in this case, let's say on the easy side. And then we will have basically our bookmark section, we will have the dashboard, and it will happen exactly as before. It will open the dashboard, and then it will apply the filters. So,
and really to stop maybe a second here, because this is like really something where we got a lot of feedback from our users to say we don't only want to have bookmarks within one dashboard. We actually would like to have bookmarks across like all applications which I am having access to. So what you have here in the portal, you can actually bookmark in all your applications where you are having access rights. You can save the bookmarks, and if you go then on the bookmark tab here on the left in the menu, you can actually see all your personal bookmarks across all different workbooks which you have available. So it's really working across everything which you have access to.
Just to show now, without opening a new one, but just to stay in the same, I just changed the sector. And again, if I go in the bookmark area, now I will have two. So it is something that you have a central area where you will find all your bookmarks. You can, of course, open that, or as soon as you will not need anymore, of course, you will delete it. And this is something is a single point of truth. So you will only access that area, and then you will have all your bookmarks, which is something very cool. Now let's revert at the very beginning of the dashboard. Now after this working, or after our work around the URL and the bookmark area, then we decide to tackle a new area that it will be more on the comment part. So as you know, on the Tableau, as you might know, on the Tableau server, you can add comments. They will piling up on the right of the dashboard. And you can actually also, since a couple of last versions, you can actually add the picture, the preview of the dashboard itself, so that your colleagues will know on what you were referring to. We started from that idea, and we wanted to, we redesigned this idea. So you see that now we are for the sector S&P 100 for this date range. If we go in the filter section, and this is still on our web page, where is no comment. However, if I change to the energy sector, I will increase a little bit the time range. You see already, I know that on the back it will be difficult. Already near there is a little one now, which means that there is a comment. And then if we open that, actually the comment will appear. Because for us, what is important is that only what is relevant to the user, so only what is relevant to what the user is looking at will be there. So I don't want to see, if I'm looking at the energy sector price evolution, I don't want to have the comments of my colleagues regarding the financial sector, the IT, or any of the other date range, for instance. So if I see the comments that are referring to 2008, 2009, fair enough, but I'm not looking at that at the moment. So I don't need to see this comment. I don't have to have this information. And again, I really a believer of less is more. So we can, everything that we can avoid to have, we want to avoid. So this is that we are linking the comment to, again, to the value of the filter. Then we decide, okay, let's now go one step deeper. So after just linking the comments in there, and now you say, I just change again, and the comment, of course, disappeared because I changed the combination. What we wanted to have was to be able to click on one point of the chart and then to add the comment on that, and then to be able to see either my comment or then to reuse the comment in any case. So we see, for instance, let me click in this case, and we can write, what a big drop, why not? And now basically the comment is stored in a database, and then it will be reused in the dashboard itself. So you see now in the dashboard, the point became from blue to red. And if we go there with the mouse, you will see TCE, that is the account that we just created, and then the message itself. So I want to quickly go on the slide, actually, to emphasize, to stress this message. So basically, what we are doing is, we're clicking on one point of the chart. We are storing the message and any information that are related to that point in a database. And once it's in a database, we can reuse it in any way that we want. For instance, in Tableau. So what we can do, you can connect to the database on your Tableau workbook, and you can use data blending or cross-database join. And you could reuse the message itself in the same chart, or you could create some dashboard based on the comments. So for instance, in the showcase in the dashboard that I showed to you before, you do have that the line, as I said, it will become red in the point, and then you will get the message and the username on the view itself, on the tooltip itself. So if we are going back to the actual portal in a second, yep. So for instance, let's go back to the idea of this material sector. Okay, I got the URL from my colleague that They say to me, hey, there is something strange in the data in this case. I'm the owner of the dashboard. I know, I just checked quickly, and I know that there is something wrong, but I now don't have the time to actually to work on this. So what you could do, for instance, is in this case, something that I like to do is actually to add the comment. So it will be, let's be honest. So there is a mistake for the data. In the data, and we will republish. It's not a good day. Republish the dashboard next week. Your Tableau team. We put a happy smile as well. So the point is then for it needs of course to load, and is to let's load again the dashboard. So, so the point is, of course, so we're storing in a database. So then, of course, in the dashboard itself, indeed, the dashboard needs to be refreshed, and because you have the live connection to the database itself, and of course, to do that, you need you need the internet that it works properly, and we see that it didn't went through. So. I will go back to actually to the SMP in this case because it worked out. So I mean, you know what I mean. So the point is that once you store actually the information about the message and all the points that are related, you could reuse in any way. So another showcase could be, for instance, in standard report, right, or let's say for balance sheet, for instance. So you could where you do have the you could actually have the three personas, so like the technical guy or the Tableau developer that prepared actually the dashboard, then you will have the subject matter expert that could click on some of the comment of the trend, some of the point of the trend, could add extra information regarding this, the trend, why there was a drop, why there was an increase, and so on and so forth. And then you will have, for instance, the executive that it just want to have the overview, the idea of what's happening, and then if they want to know more, they can just go there with the mouse, and then it could be in the tooltip, it could be on the right, on the left of the dashboard, or so on and so forth. There are really a lot of showcase, a lot of use case where you could implement this comment on click. I would say I'll give back the floor to Moritz actually for.
Yeah, so many thanks, Dario, for the presentation, and I hope that it was useful to you to show you a couple of additional ideas how you can either use the existing functionalities which are provided out of the box. Yeah, so you just need to use the APIs. That's pretty easy. On the other hand, there are like a lot of possibilities to actually extend the functionalities which are provided by the product to actually extend the use case of Tableau. And this is why we actually told about a couple of our internal use cases which we have, where we see that having a collaboration functionality like commenting will by far increase the value of the solution to the users. Because if you don't have a strong collaboration functionality in the end, either the people don't use it, yeah, they go back to their Excel solutions, or they write hundreds of emails, they need to take their phone, they again are in a situation where they are reliant and dependent on other people to help out. So here we really see that using additional functionalities and augmenting the solution will enable us to bring data and insights to much more people which are actually today not really served by the out-of-the-box solutions. So before we do the Q&A, I would quickly like to summarize what we try to tell you. So we really see that Tableau, since 1.5 years, is really on a track to provide a lot of technical functionalities which will help you and us to embed Tableau in all different kind of ways. And we just showed you one example. So this is a continuous focus of Tableau to actually invest into that area to, again, provide more ease of use and more APIs. we tried to give you a summary of how we internally use an embedded Tableau solution with our Insights Portal, which is actually providing a one-stop solution for business users where they find all their content they need. And again, we talked about custom features, and we have a lot of more ideas. Yeah? So if you're interested in more creative ideas how to build custom functionalities, let's have a follow-up discussion either after the session or at our booth down in the main hall. So actually, I would like to close here our talk, but as said, we would be really, really happy to answer all your questions.